language and occupational therapy services as well. We have used Presence Learning in the past. Actually, when we shut down for COVID, they ran some of our speech and language services, so I was able to talk to our SLP providers. They highly recommended Presence Learning. They really enjoyed working with them. Another thing for Presence Learning, their service menu is an a la carte service menu. So they charge us based upon which assessments they're running, what services they're providing. It's not a flat rate fee, it's depending upon what they're doing for us. They include Spanish assessments. So that's something you heard Mr. Robinson say today, we're seeing an influx in English language learners. We would be paying for outside services for that. And if we were to contract with this agency, we would rely on them to provide these services for us. So what we would look at with this particular company is not to exceed $30,000 for the remainder of the year. That would be approximately 34 assessments they would step in and fulfill. It costs approximately $864 in Wisconsin for them to run the assessment from start to finish. And they are serving about 192 schools in the state of Wisconsin right now. So they are the #1 remote service provider here that we are able to be in contact with. You can see that Tiny Eye is the next company that we spoke to. Some things very similar. They do not offer occupational therapy. They have a maximum of 50 assessments that they would run for the remainder of the school year, but they are asking for $78,750 just to finish out the school year to provide those assessments. And then Voco Vision was the final company. They are serving one Wisconsin school district. They do charge per hour and not per assessment, so you're kind of at will of how fast that person really is truly moving, and you're looking at $85 to $120 per hour for these Voco Vision services. So if you move on to the next page, really what we are asking today is that we're going to need some support with these federal requirements that we need to meet. We have several open evaluations right now, which is really taxing the 1.8 staff members that we currently have fulfilling these duties. We're asking to move forward with Presence Learning so that they could provide remote services for us. We could see if this would help fill the need in the future within a short-term window, and that would be not to exceed $30,000. They would only bill us for what services they are providing us for the year. What questions do you have for me?
I do have one. Does Presence have a maximum amount of assessments? I mean, I noticed one of them did. Do they have a maximum amount that you can do for that?
They do not have a maximum amount that they will offer us, but it's provider-based, so they would be then giving us more than one provider, more than one school psychologist, depending upon how many evaluations we would be asking them to conduct.
Thank you.
And this is just to add to the people that we currently have to fulfill our needs.
It would fulfill our needs for the remainder of the school year and also kind of allow us to look out into the future. Is this a possibility for us to continue to meet this need, knowing that we've had an opening all year and we haven't had any applicants?
Okay, thank you.
So
Go ahead.
last year, did we have 2 school psych?
We did have 2 school psychs last
So
year.
we were only able to hire a .8?
Correct. What we were able to do, we had an individual who was away for a period of time, and so contractually, we hired a couple of people to step in and support while that individual was away, and then they resigned in December. They finished out the school year with us. That person resigned at the December timeframe, causing us to have that full-time opening for the remainder of the school year.
We started the school year with 2.6 school psychologists. Megan Rasmussen elected to leave the district, so we're down. We did find another retired school psych, so we're up to one full-time school psych, and then we have a few days a week from 2 different retired school psychs.
What did we have last year for school psychs?
Last year we had 2 full-time school psychs. That's correct, I believe.
That is correct.
Any other questions?
So we're paying for this to a certain extent, or is this $30,000 is more? I mean, at this point, adding
It's $30,000 that we weren't anticipating, but we also didn't anticipate that Megan Rasmussen would leave halfway through the school year. So we're basically replacing that position
That
through the
salary.
end of the year. Correct.
I think Crystal touched on it, but it was kind of hard to hear. But
Yeah, it doesn't come in real clear.
would this possibly replace school psych even next year?
It's possible. And more districts are utilizing this option because it's challenging. Crystal went to a school psych job fair on Friday in the Dells, and people were being hired at that job fair as they walked up to booths, to give you an idea of what the market is like right now.
Do they provide this in person, by the way, or is it on?
They do not. That's a good question. It is all remote services, so the person won't necessarily be in our school. We would be looking at having a student in a small setting with an adult sitting in the room or being able to be in the back of a classroom, and they would provide this remote over a platform called Conga. The assessments are the same that we are using in our district, and the scoring rubrics are the same that we are using in our district currently.
And the state is realizing that there's a need, and they're looking at some alternative pathway programs for school psychologists and some online programs at some of the state-level universities.
So do we have a plan for a staff member that would be with these students receiving these services?
We'd have to utilize instructional assistants mostly, yes.
Any other questions?
And we've been looking for those almost all year as well.
You're looking for a motion, Jimmy?
What's that? Yeah.
Motion to approve not to exceed $30,000 for the remainder of the year with presence.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Ann? I have a motion and a second to approve presence learning for the remainder of the school year not to exceed $30,000. Discussion? Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, we will start this vote with Laura.
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Laura, or Lena, sorry.
Yes.
Joni?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Passes 8-0. All right. Last up on the agenda is overnight field trips for state-level competitions.
So what we're trying to do is be more proactive with overnight field trips. However, there are certain instances. For example, sectional wrestling meet is going to take place this coming Saturday. It's very likely that we could have 1 to 3 individuals qualify for the state tournament. There will not be a board meeting between the sectional competition and the state meet. And so I'd like to ask your permission to approve those trips at this point in time. However, what we're talking about with our coaches is, an athletic director, is at the beginning of seasons coming to the board with potential state meets, so we get those prior approved. We anticipate that there'll be some track athletes that qualify in the spring, so we would not wait, obviously, until the bitter end for those folks, and then continue to be more proactive into the future.
What's the board's decision here? I need a motion.
Motion to approve, the
Mandy?
administrator to approve overnight state-level competitions.
Second.
Ann? All right, I have a motion and a second. The motion for the district administrator to approve all overnight state-level competitions. Discussion? Seeing none, we will start this vote with Bobby.
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Lena?
Yes.
Joni?
Yes.
Mandy?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Passes 8-0. Seeing that we've come to the end of the agenda, any objection to adjournment? Seeing none, we are adjourned at 8:01. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yeah, just $20.